Good afternoon. My name is Gwendolyne Portocarrero, and today I will be talking about prayer in public schools. This is for my speech 1311 class of the spring of 2020, and my professor is Ms. Irma Garcia. I will begin by saying that this is a very sensitive matter for the most people. The majority believes that this is not necessary, but there are some percentage of the public that thinks that this is a good idea. Let's take a moment to reflect on this matter. How does this really affect the public, and how would it be a good idea to implement this custom again? I read a quote by a judge named John Welch. He was the judge of in a specific case in the 1800s, and he said something, and I'm going to quote him right now. And it says, "When Christianity asked for the aid of the government beyond mere impartial protection, it denies itself. Its laws are divine and not human." Meaning that why would religion and law should go together? It shouldn't, because it will deny its own nature. The nature of the prayer should be for ourselves only, and we should only be able to very privately do it on our own. There is a lot of history behind this matter. Ever since the 19th and 20th century, the school prayer has been challenged by the citizens at the courts of law. The law says that religion and education should not go together because it directly violates the Constitution. This is clearly talked about in Article 6 of the United States Constitution. Thomas Jefferson made it clear in a letter that he wrote on January 1st of 1802, the separation between church and state should be done and should be taken care of as soon as possible. There are reasons why the early lawmakers saw this to be an issue. Back in the day, there weren't as many religions as they were before, as they were now, and today there are so many that it'll be clearly more difficult to agree on the type of prayer that would be used for everyone at a public school. My grandmother used to say that every head is a different world. So whatever might be good to me, it clearly could not be good for somebody else. That's what it is. There is a lot of people that would see something as appropriate, but another person might not see it the same way. I always saw and felt prayer like a very private, intimate moment for a person to get close to whatever they believed in. And let's just say that a school is not the most private place. It's a noisy place where you develop your social side of your character. And prayer is so much more than that. I also found out that it is okay to say a non-disruptive small prayer in most schools and states. So it is okay for people to say, if they want to do a small prayer before they eat, they can. It shouldn't be a problem in a lot of states and schools. But for whatever reason, people think that it's not okay. And I guess it's because not too long ago, the President of the United States, Donald Trump, mentioned that prayer in school should be done and should be granted. And I don't really understand what was the base for him to bring it up, but he signed a letter approving the prayer back in school. But the reality is that it wasn't like it was forbidden to do so. Most people agree with the fact that prayer should stay for private moments, but there are some parts of the population that think it would be a good idea to bring it back in and just forget about that it was taken off in 1962 by the Supreme Court. In conclusion, prayer is not a bad habit itself. If that's where you need to be more at ease, you should be able to do so without disrupting others. Others think that this will stop shootings from students to another students. They believe that this form of closeness to God will stop this kind of events from happening. But is this really accurate? Is this really would this really help? Would this really, stop people from shooting others or create this mass murders? just by praying, just by being able to pray in school. I believe for this to be a whole different issue and for this to be taken care of in a whole different speech, I will end up by saying that prayer should always be present, but privately done to secure the respect for it. So, like I said, this is the last thing that I would say. Prayer should, in my point of view, it should stay within ourselves. Thank you very much.